Hello guys, I'm Yadagiri Reddy and welcome to the series of Selenium interview questions. In this video, we will see how we can find the broken images in a website using Selenium WebDriver. So generally, when you visit any website, you will find some images, right? So just like any other HTML control, you will find some images also. So these images are actually used for displaying the graphical content to the user, okay? So if you want to display any graphical content, then you have to use images or videos. So now we know what is the image and why these images are actually used, right? So what is exactly this broken image? So before that, first let me show you how these images actually looks like in the website. So here I have one website. So the website name is the world's worst website ever. So I will leave the link in the description box below. So in this website, I have some HTML controls, okay? So labels and some links and some images and everything. So here in the bottom, you can see we have some images, right? So here it is showing some bridge and sun. So here it is showing the greenery and the road, right? So that means it is showing some kind of a graphical content which cannot be actually written in the HTML, okay? You have to use some kind of an external graphical source. So here the external graphical source is nothing but the image. So every web page is trying to show us some images, right? But sometimes when you visit any website, right, you will see the image icon, but not the image. So here, if you see after this what's new, you can see here we have one image icon, right? But we are not able to see the actual image. So you might be thinking like this is the actual image. This image icon is the actual image. No, that is not the actual image, okay? So there is an actual image, but because that image is not loaded, HTML page is actually putting this image icon here. That is because for displaying any image, we use the img tag, okay? So that img tag default thing is this one, the image icon. So if the image is not loaded properly or if the image is not existing, then it will show you this image icon, okay? So these kind of images are called as broken images. Why? Because this image is actually not loaded, right? So the purpose of this image is to display some kind of a graphical content, but it is not actually loaded. So that is why we call them as a broken image, okay? So what could be the reason for this broken image? So it might be any reason, okay? So there are so many reasons actually. Like maybe the image is deleted from the server, or maybe the image address is modified. That means maybe it is changed from one location to other location. Or maybe the image name itself modified. So every image will have some name, right? So using that name and path, we will identify this image. We will try to load the image here, right? But maybe that image name is actually modified. So because of those reasons, the image is not getting loaded, right? So it might be any of these reasons. So finally, the image is not loaded, right? So we will find out these images and we have to report to the developer. Why? Because the images are intended for some purpose, but that purpose is not achieved. Then it is a bug, right? So we have to report these things, okay? So in this video, we will see how we can find these images, these broken images, okay? So to find these broken images, we have two ways. The first one is using Selenium WebDriver and the second one is without using the Selenium WebDriver. So in this video, I will show you both the ways, okay? So first we will see with the Selenium WebDriver, okay? So before that, so just like this image icon, we have some other. So here in the bottom, you can see. So these three are also image icons only, but these are actually some images. So these are also not loaded. So that is why this is displaying image icons, okay? So let me open the Eclipse. So here I have one program. So this program I will use for practice today. So here I have the main method. I'm going to show you two methods, right? So instead of writing the code inside the main method, I will write in a separate method. Then I will call those methods inside the main method, okay? So here I will say public static void. So inside this, I will write the Selenium related code. So first I need to open the web application, right? So I need to open the Chrome browser, then I need to navigate to the browser. Then I have to fetch all the image tags. So here I told you, right? So every image will have one tag. So just like any other control, every image will have one tag. The tag name is img. So if I inspect, so here you can see the tag name is img, right? So here in the src, the image path with the image name is included, okay? So if you inspect the other image, which is not actually displayed, that means the broken image. So this one is also having some path, right? So it is having the img tag and it is having the src attribute with some image path. But because of maybe this is not available or something, because of that, it is not loading, right? So first in the Selenium WebDriver, we need to open the Chrome browser. Then we need to navigate to the application. After navigating to the application, we need to find out all the img tags. That means all the image elements. Then we need to iterate each and every element and find out whether it is a broken image or it is a normal valid image, okay? So first I will open the Chrome browser. So here I'm using the WebDriver manager. So here I want to navigate to this web page. Okay. So I'll copy this link. Then after navigating, I'll give some thread.sleep. Okay. Just for the safer side. So now we navigated to the website, right? So we need to find out all the image tags. So if you want to find out multiple elements, we need to use the find elements method, right? Driver dot find elements by tag name. So here I'm going to use the tag name, okay? Because I know the tag name is img. So now this will find out all the elements. So now I want to store this one into some list, right? So I'll say list of web elements. I'll name the variable as images. So after this, I'll just print the size, okay? So images dot size. Then we want to iterate this one, right? So I will use the for each loop. You can use for or for each loop, anything is fine. So from these images, I want to get each time one image. So then we want to verify whether it is a broken image or not, right? So how do we verify that? So every image is having this src attribute, right? So inside this one, we have the image address. So if this image address is valid, then it is a valid image. If the image address is invalid, that means it is not a valid image, right? So when you send the request with this address, if you get the response as 200, then it is a valid image. If you don't get the response as 200, then it is an invalid image. So now I need to get this src attribute value. So I will store that into something like this. I'll say image src. So here I'm not going to write driver dot because I want to find out this src attribute on the image. So I will write image, then I will find out the image attribute, okay? So to find any attribute value, we have a method get attribute. So using this, we can find any attribute value for the element. So here the attribute name is src. This will return the image src value, right? So now we have the image address. So now all we need to do is we need to create a URL connection, then send a request to the server. Okay, with this URL, we need to send a request to the server. If we get the response as 200, then it is a valid image, right? So first I need to create the URL. So here in Java, we have a class called URL. So for that URL class, we need to create the object. Here we need to pass the URL. In my case, here the URL is actually the image source, right? So this is the address. So I will pass that. Then I need to create the connection. So the connection I need to create with this URL, right? So I want to open the connection for this one. URL dot open connection. So this open connection will return a URL connection object. Okay. So I want to create the object for that. And I want to store this one, URL connection. So now this URL connection is a generic one, right? But if you want to send any request, we need to send in the form of HTTP or HTTPS, right? So I need to convert this into any of those things. So here we have two classes, HTTP URL connection and HTTPS URL connection also. You can use any of these things, okay? So I will use the HTTP URL connection and I will name the variable as HTTP URL connection. So here this HTTP URL connection is an abstract class. Okay, so if I open this, here you can see this is an abstract class. That means you can't create the object for this. So then how we can create the object? What you can do is we can convert this one. We can cast this normal URL connection object into HTTP URL connection. Okay, so because already this connection is having the information, right? So if you just cast this one, then it is fine. So once you assign that one directly, automatically the Eclipse will allow you to cast it. Okay, so it will give the suggestion to cast. So this is how we cast. Okay, now the connection is ready, right? So we need to connect dot connect. So this will send the request. Okay, so this will send the request to the server. So before this, I would recommend you to use some kind of a wait, because sometimes because of network speed or something, the image, this connection will not be established immediately. So it might take 2 or 3 seconds also. So on a safer side, we will use some kind of a timeout. Okay, so here we have something method called set connect timeout. Okay, so inside this I need to pass the time. So you need to pass the time in the milliseconds. Milliseconds means 1 second equal 1000 milliseconds, right? So if you want to pass 5 seconds, then you have to pass 5000 milliseconds. So now the request also sent, right? So server will send you some kind of a response. So that response is also present inside this connection object only. So we need to get the response code, right? So I will say inside the if condition, because I want to verify whether it is a 200 or not, right? Dot get response code. So this is the method to get the response code. So if it is 200, that means it is a valid image. So I will print that in the console. So here what I will do, I will print the valid images in the black color and I will print the invalid images, that means broken images, in the red color. Okay. So inside the system.out.println, I will print the valid image. So I'll give something like this. Okay, so normal formatting. Okay, so after this I want to print the response code. Then again I will give something like this. So after this I want to print the response message. So along with response code we will have some response message also. Okay, so that is also available on top of connection object only. Dot get response message. So if it is not 200, then I need to print in the red color, right? So to print in the red color we need to use system.error.println. Okay, the shortcut is syserr. So I want to print the same thing, okay, the same content but just with a different color. So after the connection, after this one is completed, I want to disconnect the connection. So here we have connected, right? So let me just disconnect it. So I will do one more thing. I'll just put this entire thing in the try catch block. Okay, so if any exception occurs, then that also we can catch. So if any error comes, I'll print in the red color. Okay, so this image src I will print. So if any error occurred in this code, then that is coming into catch block, right? So when the error will come actually, if you are not able to connect or something, right? So those are also actually a broken images only, okay? Because those links also have some problem. So that is also coming under this broken image category only. So after this, I no need to keep the driver active, right? So after the for loop, I'll quit the driver. So when the browser is closed, then we understand that the execution is completed, okay? So let me call this method inside the main method. So I have created this as a static, so I no need to create the object. Fine. So now let's run this program. So I'll just maximize this console. So now in the backend you can see it is trying to print all the image with the status, right? So far everything is in black. That means all the images are valid images. See, we got something red. So we got 3 images as a red color, right? So this one and these things. If you observe here, this one is not getting any status code or any status message. So that is because this one is executed inside the catch block. Okay. So here I have created the catch block, right? So inside this one. So we have some issue with this one connecting to this one. That is why we got the exception. Then we catch that exception in the catch block. Okay. So this one and these two. So here you can see this image, it is not found. Okay. So it is not found in the website itself. Maybe the image is removed, right? So that is why we call these images as broken images. So now we found the images using Selenium WebDriver, right? So all these broken images using Selenium WebDriver. So it's time to find out these images without any Selenium WebDriver. Okay. So if you are not using the Selenium WebDriver, then what we will use? We are going to use Jsoup. So this Jsoup is a library which will help us in parsing the HTML document without opening the web page itself. Okay. So let me just create one method here. So I'll just copy the same method. Okay. Just for the time being, I'll change the content. So here, verify broken images using Jsoup. So here we don't want to open the Selenium WebDriver or anything, right? So I'll close this. So first I want to add this Jsoup library in my machine. Okay. So in my project basically. So just type Jsoup. Okay. So this is the one, Jsoup Java HTML Parser. Okay. Just open this one. So here I want to download it, right? So just click on this download button. Here you can see we have a Maven dependency. So I'm using the Maven project only, so I can add this dependency. So let me just open the project. So inside the POM file, I'm going to add this one. Okay. So here it is downloading. So the download is completed and it is building the workspace. Okay, it is done. So now, how do we use this Jsoup? So if you don't know how to use, just come back to this website. So here you can see one example. Okay. So here what actually they did. So here they created one document instance. Okay. So here they connected to this URL and they got everything, whatever the document, HTML document is there, that content into this doc. Then we can perform the operations on this doc to find the elements. Okay. So just copy this one. It's very easy, guys. Okay. So here I'll change my URL. So my URL is this one. I'm not going to open the URL, but I want to connect to that URL from the backend, right? So that is why I need to use this URL. Okay, so here it is asking for importing. So while importing, make sure that you are importing from the Jsoup. Okay, so here org.jsoup. So I am importing this one, Jsoup. So I don't want to print anything in the console, so just remove that log. Then elements also you have to import from the Jsoup. So this is the one, and the element. So we have so many references actually. So that is why I'm stressing you have to import the references that is coming from the Jsoup library. Okay. So by looking at this one, you can understand org.jsoup.nodes. So this is coming from Jsoup. So here, this is the doc. Okay. Let's leave like that. So I want to get all the images, right? So it is like a CSS selector syntax. Okay. So if you want to get all the image tags, you can directly mention the tag name here. So if you mention img, it will fetch all the image tags. Okay. So I will rename this one. I'll say images. So from the images, I want to get one image at a time. So after this, if you want to get any attribute value, you have to use this statement. So I want to store the image src, right? So just like the previous one only. So instead of connecting to the website and opening the website and fetch all the images, here we are doing everything in the backend. Okay. So I want to get the attribute of image, right? So the attribute name is actually src. So this is only changing, guys, nothing else. Okay. So the rest all is same. So I did not change this code. Okay. This code is actually same code only. Okay. I have removed the WebDriver related code and I have added this Jsoup related code. That's it. Okay. So after this, I don't want to close any browser because I did not open any browser, right? So I have to call this method inside the main method. So let me just comment the first method. Okay. So now this should execute the Jsoup related code. So here everything is coming in the red color, right? Why? Because here if you look at the image path, it is coming as images / this one. But in the previous one, it is coming with the proper URL, right? So the problem is when you are using the Selenium WebDriver, it will give you the proper image path. Okay. With this website name, it will give the image path. But when you are using this Jsoup, it will not return like that. Okay. So you have to append that URL. So here you need to write one condition, that is, if the image path is not starting with HTTP or HTTPS, then you have to append your website URL. So now it will become the proper path. So now let me just execute this. So now you see it is validating the URLs. Okay. So last time we got 3 error images, right? That means broken images. So this time also we should get the same 3 only. If you change from Selenium WebDriver to Jsoup, we should not get more images, broken images or something like that. Okay. The same operation, but the way how you perform is different. That's it. See, the program execution is completed and we found only 3 images, 3 broken images. Okay. So in the last scenario also we found only 3 broken images, right? So it is working just like a Selenium WebDriver only, but instead of opening the web browser and all, it will be very much faster. Okay. So if the interviewer asks you specifically, how do you do with the Selenium WebDriver, then you can go with the first option. So if the interviewer will ask you like normally generic question, how do you find out the broken images in a website? Then you can give this answer as well. Okay. So anything is fine. Both of these ways will find out the broken images. Okay. So now you can report these image links to the developer. That's it, guys. So one more thing. So in my last video also, in broken links also, I have told you that. So if you have the proxy related issues, you have to add the proxy here. Okay. So how do you add that? So here you need to create the proxy related connection. Okay. So inside this try catch, I will create one proxy. So this one. Okay. So this is the constructor. So here type is nothing but whether it is a HTTP type or HTTPS type, like that. Okay. So I will say type dot HTTP. Okay. So this type is a enum. So you can choose the values from this enum. And the next one is new inet socket address. So here you can see the host name and port. So generally, if you have the proxy related issues, for that proxy, you will have some host name and the port, right? So you can choose this one. You can pass the host name. So I'm just writing test host here. Okay. And the port number, anything, 8080 or something. Okay. So let me create the object. Let's see what it is saying. Okay. So I need to use the java.net.proxy. Okay. If you import this reference, it will not come like this. If you don't import, it will come like this. So that is just fine. So you need to use this proxy instance while opening the connection. Okay. So you need to pass here. So that is the change, guys. So if you are using the proxy, right, you need to make these two changes. You need to create the proxy instance and pass that proxy instance into this open URL connection, this method. Okay. So generally in our companies, we will have the proxy related issues, right? So during that time, we can use this one. Okay. So I will upload this program into my GitHub account and I will share the link also in the description box below. Okay. So that is about this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.